I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a few guests today. We'd like to acknowledge them. Paul David from the supervisors, Graham County Supervisors, Mike Garcia, Sappers Lions Club, David Borofsky, the director of the AACCT, with us on Zoom, and acknowledge board member Tina on Zoom with us as well. So speedy recovery to her.
Thank you.
Call to the public.
Whoa. Ford
Paul first. Is he here with us?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Paul and Mike both.
Yeah, so apparently there's a presentation by the Lions Club. We invite you to come forward.
Good afternoon, Chairman Larson and President Haney and board members. My name is Paul David. This is Mike Garcia. We represent the 100 so members of the Safford Lions Club, and we're here for a presentation. EAC has been a great partner with the project that Mike Garcia has step closer. Mike Garcia originated, and that is the Safford Lions 5K and 10K community mental health awareness run. And Mike's been a big advocate of mental health awareness, and his desire in getting this 5K and 10K run started was to not only generate awareness of mental health problems, but also to be able to generate some funds so that we can begin to address it. And with the help of the EAC, you've been a great partner. Paul Anger at the Discovery Park provided the race course. Gina Roebuck and Kate McCluskey both responded with a number of their students and helped participate. We had 82 runners this year for our initial year, a Saturday morning, and it turned out really well. We had support of the Graham and Greenlee United Way. Michael was able to, before we ever started this race, we had almost $7,000 in contributions, and so it ensured that we were going to have some funds available. Also, where EAC comes in addition to what Paul did for us and the support, is that we also initiated contact with Craig Smith and Gina Roebuck. By the way, she ran as well as her daughter. My daughter won her division, and we have thought that we kind of brainstormed and thought that the mental health services were lacking because there's not a student health center, and kids have a crisis. We thought we could help fund with the proceeds money to make a crisis counseling available so that they could go get find a provider with the help of the counseling department, and then go and get the services, especially those who don't have any funds, or who it takes sometimes a lot of time to get the appointments with mom and dad's insurance. And so that was the genesis, the purpose. And so Michael is here to make that presentation. Again, it couldn't have happened without EAC. And we're looking forward to doing it again this year in October. And Paul Anger, they even want to add a half marathon. I'm not the going to participate. I might walk the 5K. But anyway, it's going to grow, and it couldn't without the support of EAC. So Michael, great idea. He had the vision, and then the execution was terrific. And now he's here to return to the college some of our thanks and some of the proceeds.
If I may,
Board members, thank you for inviting us to present this check to you guys. As Paul stated, we raised a little over $10,000 in our first Lions Club adventure. So with that money, we decided to give $2,000 to EAC, and we gave another $2,000 to a different entity as well. So I am very honored and kind of nervous, I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm very honored to be here to present this check to EAC on behalf of Safford Lions Foundation. Without further ado, who do we?
Okay, well, we certainly appreciate it. We appreciate your efforts to
And we'd like to do
Assist.
this again. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the purpose, is
continuing.
to continue with EAC. We think that's a very, very worthy, and we won't hear any specifics, but we're hoping to hear good reports of the
Put to
fruits
good
of our
use,
labors.
right? Yeah.
So,
We won't let you all stand right.
Okay.
Facing me.
back.
President Wilks. Stand. There you go. You. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. It's an honor.
Okay, you have the board minutes from our February meeting and the executive session meeting. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the regular meeting and also the executive meeting
Second.
for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. College financial reports and vouchers. Vice President Welker.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, present to you the vouchers and expenditures through January of this current year. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions?
Thank you.
I'd move approval, acceptance, whatever.
We have a motion.
I second it.
Second by Lois. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Vice President Welker. Mrs. Moody, you have, as a member of the AA Community College Trustees, you would like to introduce our guest.
I would love to. It is my privilege to be able to introduce our new director of the AACCT. His name is Dr. David Borowski. He brings to us a wealth of experience and knowledge. He served on a number of colleges and universities during his 35+ years career in higher education. Borowski started his career in student affairs, and he quickly moved to continuing education before ascending to dean, vice president, and president positions. He has worked in Pennsylvania, Colorado, Washington State, South Dakota, Florida, and Louisiana. Borowski has served as dean and vice president of Colorado Mountain College, president of Bates Technical College in Tacoma, Washington, president of Dakota State University in Madison, South Dakota, and interim president of Hodges University in Naples, Florida, and interim vice president and COO of Loyola University of New Orleans. During his career, he has focused on helping students be successful. His strength is working collaboratively with all constituents, boards of trustees,
faculty, staff, students, and community members. Dr. Borofsky earned his doctorates in education administration and supervision from Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. He also holds a master's degree in education and a bachelor's degree in psychology from Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's my pleasure to introduce him, and I'll let Dr. Borofsky bring us updates on what is happening in putting together the AACCT organization. We're so excited to have him aboard.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Moody. That was a very nice introduction, and I really appreciate it. Chair Larson and the Board of Directors of Eastern Arizona College, thank you for giving me a few moments to talk with you. It's been an interesting couple of months since I started in mid-January. I have been now to my 9th Board of Directors meeting. You are my 9th board meeting, and I seem to have had 4 this week, so it's been an interesting week. I've learned a lot about community college trustees here in Arizona and a lot about how the boards operate. I have also had the pleasure of talking with members of just about every board. My last board member will be this coming Monday. So I've gotten some one-on-one time, as I did with Mrs. Moody, which I really appreciated that conversation. She has served for a long time on your board and had some great history to share with me and some great knowledge, which I have found most of the board members I have talked with have been able to do. So where are we in this whole process? A couple of months in, I have a draft strategic plan that the executive committee of AACCT has approved to move forward to the full board meeting. I will be inviting representatives from all of the community colleges who serve on the EAC Board of Directors to meet with me before the end of April. That email will go out early next week. I've also taken a long look at the bylaws, which were last updated in 2018. They need to be worked on, and the executive committee and I did that on Tuesday. And we're also changing the way the AACCT is organized. As I know President Haney is very aware, we are looking at, we are actually going to be part of the AC4 group. President Haney is a strong member of that group, and it's been a pleasure to meet with him and to talk with him as well. He was on my interview committee for this positions, and I know that at least I'm told it was a unanimous decision, so I appreciate his support there as well. And so those are the 3 main items. We're looking at the strategic plan, integrating AC4 and AACCT, and making sure the bylaws reflect the organization that we really are interested in becoming. Part of the strategic plan is going to include some training for board members in legislative advocacy, so that we're all talking the same thing at the same time, as well as perhaps some board training. I know you probably do your own board training, so I'm not going to step on board members' toes by any stretch, but work in collaboration with you and your board, as well as the other boards, on making sure that the strategic plan gets implemented in a way that is helpful to you, and most importantly, helpful to your college and your students. Mrs. Moody was right. Since the early 90s, my career started in the 70s, and then I took a little break and was in business for a few years with my family. But since the early 90s, my focus has been totally on students and making sure that they are successful, because that's why we're all in this role that we're in, and we're all working, especially at the community college level. I won't take any more of your time unless you have questions. I am more than happy to answer them if I have the answers. I just appreciate the few minutes that you've allowed me to introduce myself and talk to you a little bit about where I hope to take AACCT.
Dr. Borofsky, I would like to ask you, is all 10 community colleges on board at this time?
Yes, they are all on board. I've talked with 9 of the 10. I will speak with the chair of my 10th board Monday afternoon, but I know that they're on board. I've talked with the chancellor. It's just been trying to calendar a meeting. So yes, all 10 are on board, at least with the board members that I've talked with. And as I said, I visited the other 8 of the other 9. And I think you're my 4th board that I've actually talked with. The others I've seen on either WebEx or YouTube or some other form.
Well, we want to welcome you and looking forward to working with you to strengthen the community colleges here in Arizona. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. And I hope once the world starts to get semi-normal, if that ever happens again, my plan is to get out physically and personally to all the board meetings so I can create relationships with you and even better understand what you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Okay, the Greenlee County Advisory Committee, Dean McBride.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, appreciate the opportunity to present the Greenlee County Advisory Committee report. I was able to attend the community partnership panel meeting virtually. They did give us an option to do it virtually or in person. It looks like that option will also be available in May at the next meeting. Not a lot has happened recently other than classes are going well and students are learning. Our next meeting will be April 13th, and that will probably be virtually. Be happy to answer any questions.
How is the enrollment going in that Greenlee County area?
It's Morenci was up a little bit in the spring. Duncan was down. A lot of the low enrollment was from the activities classes like the Zumba, the swimming. Because of COVID, we're hoping that that will increase for the fall semester. That's what we're looking towards. But dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment has been very strong, especially in Morenci, and it's even getting stronger in Duncan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean McBride. The Gila County Provisional Community College District, Senior Dean Lawhorn.
Good morning, Chairman Larson, members of the board. I present my report. I have had the opportunity to spend several days up in Payson as well as in Globe over the last month. I had an opportunity to meet with two members of the board, including Fernando Shipley as well as Kurt Knaus, to talk about the needs in Gila County. I'm hoping to meet with President of the board, Jan Brocker, as well as Connie Cockrell next week, one day in Payson, so I can begin to build some of those relationships. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Executive Director Udall, the College Foundation Alumni Association.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, and pleased to be here. It's been a while. We've been focusing on some employee giving campaigns, and we've enjoyed having Ryan Rivera's work helping us make that possible. And that's been going well. An increase in the number of employees, probably about double what it was in the past. So that's moving well. We've also been doing some direct mail with some of those in our older population of alumni, talking of some of the estate planning and other things we consider, and how charitable giving can be a part of that. And we're preparing for the end of the year with scholarship donations and a number of other fundraising projects that are looking really promising. And be happy to answer any questions.
I want to thank Executive Director Udall for getting me a street sign, a personalized street sign that they did a promotion for purchase. Anyway, I didn't see it until later, but he was able to carve me one for a little additional cost, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, we're glad to see that the vendor was flexible, and yeah, so we'll keep that around this. In fact, that's something that's possible with the employees if they go to depending on their level of giving, there's t-shirts or street signs or even bricks at the memorial walkway outside of the alumni library.
Say that the streets around the campus look really nice. That was a great idea, whoever came up with it. Anyway,
That has been really cool.
yeah. So, any question?
One quick question. This Verlene Anderson, do you know anything about her background?
Yeah, she used to be here at Records. She was the head of Records for a number of years back in the 90s.
Really?
Retired.
Just a few years ago. She hasn't been retired too long. Just a few years ago, she retired.
It's probably been 7, 8 years.
Has it been that
But
long?
She worked here for 30
Yeah,
years.
she was 30 years here.
Wow.
Director of Fiscal,
Well,
or not Fiscal, Records.
Records, yeah. I didn't realize, Ben, I just thought she had retired just before you came on board, President Haley.
It was just a few years prior to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been here for a long time.
well,
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
She lost her husband here about a year ago. Her husband was Jerry Anderson.
Anderson's uptown.
Okay, receive our preliminary budget information by President Welcome.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, in accord with our budget schedule, I present to you this additional budget information for comparison year over year. It's presented to you for your review. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Again, this is in preparation for our official budget, which will come to you in May.
Any questions? Tell me not, if you want to segue into our tuition and fee schedule.
Sure. The tuition and fee schedule, if you remember, was preliminary, was presented to you last month. This will be the official, so it will need a resolution for the board to adopt. There are no changes other than on the board fees. We've done some adjustments there to our meal plans. The board will be approving tuition and course fees, education fees, but the authorization for board fees and dorm and all those, we're asking for a resolution to be able to administer those as we see fit to make adjustments and things like that. As you know, we do have a new food service, and so we are still kind of going along, evaluating it as we go. We've included an opportunity here, instead of just having meal plans, to have students have the option to select a declining balance. In other words, to put cash on a card as opposed to having to just purchase a meal plan that would be more expensive, create some hurdles for our students. This would give us the option to leave open the possibility of even lowering a cash balance down to, say, $800 or maybe even $500, so that students could utilize the cafe and cafeteria area as they see fit, instead of having to buy meal plans that they use or lose. So this would be something we are considering trying for this coming fall and spring semester as an additional option to see how it goes, to see if it helps our dorm levels go up. It's one of the biggest, I don't want to say complaints, but concerns we get from students is, I live in the dorms, but I can't afford the meal plan because even the cheapest meal plan is as expensive as living in the dorms. So we're just trying to provide some options and see how it goes for our students. Again, that would be more under, you're not necessarily approving those amounts, but giving us authority to update them and determine what those amounts would be. But tuition none of the tuition information has changed since last month. It is proposed. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
One quick question. And I read something here recently about one of the counties inquiring about their out-of-county tuition. Is it still the situation where students attend here from an unorganized district, that county reimburses us out-of-county tuition? That's still ongoing?
That's correct.
It was Greenlee that was saw the discussion about.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. Fine.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, there are two unorganized counties in the state, Greenlee County and Apache County. Both of those counties do reimburse out-of-county tuition rates for students that attend a district in the state.
Santa Cruz County got organized?
They're a provisional district, so they are organized as a provisional district.
Same as Gila.
Like Gila?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, you need a motion?
We do.
I so move then to
Okay.
approve tuition fee schedule.
Need a second.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you, Vice President Love. Oh, you're still up.
I'm still camping out here.
Go ahead.
All right, Chairman Larson, members of the board, I present to you the FTSE projection for fiscal year 2022. This is a projection, but this information gets submitted to the Economics Estimate Commission, which then goes into the calculation for our expenditure limitation. Historically, we have used the weighted average. This year, though, it becomes more beneficial for us to use a 5-year look-back average. This is largely due because of the decline in FTSE due to COVID, us not being able to be in the prison programs, and just enrollment being down in general. So this is the most advantageous for our calculation, is to select this option number 2, which gives us the average over the last 5 years. The resolution the board is making is just to approve this projection, and then I will be sending it to the Economic Estimates Commission within the next week for the final selection, so that they can use that for our expenditure limit calculation.
Need a motion.
I make a motion that we accept this full-time equivalent student enrollment count as presented.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's the pound.
All right, Vice President Wood, consider courses and curriculum.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, thank you for letting me present this information. We've got one new course proposal that is for English 280, which is an introduction to literature class. And then there are 2 course modifications that you'll see on page 2. And that is for a personal training class that's switching the lecture lab ratio is the modification, and a Spanish conversation and composition 2 course. And that is also switching the lecture lab ratio, but it is also updating this course to add the diversity and inclusion designation. And I would stand for questions. If you have any.
I have none. I'd move approval of the new course addition and modifications. Is that it?
Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Wood.
All right, thank you very much.
Consider contracts. Vice President Welcome.
Yes, Chairman Larson, members of the board, our policy mandates that the board be apprised of all contracts in excess of $25,000, as well as all IGAs, regardless of dollar amount. We are requesting a resolution that for authorization of the president or personnel designated by the president to manage these contracts. As you'll see, the details are attached. with a listing of those contracts, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
This may not be the appropriate place, but our contracts with the Department of Corrections, what's little quick update, what's going on there?
They're still in force as they were signed. I'm trying to remember how many years the federal one is. But obviously, we're not in there right now, but they are in full force, and we're standing ready to go and serve as soon as they allow us back in.
Both the state and the federal?
Yes, both state and federal. We're still out. We also, it's a great question, and you'll notice we still don't have the prison labor back on campus for our landscaping.
Okay.
So we're still been dealing with that as well. So it cuts us on both sides. Both the contract we pay for and the contract that we are receiving.
Would that take a kind of a declaration like Texas just did of opening back up? Would that do it, or are they going to have their own assessment and Department of Corrections?
That's a great question. Federally, I think that'll be, have to come down nationally.
Oh, yeah.
But the state, that will be interesting to see what ends up happening. But we're biting at the bit to get back in there. So. And they know it. A couple of times they've said, we think we'll be ready in 2 weeks, and then things flare up and the top guys back down.
Very good.
I move that we authorize the president or personnel designated by the president to negotiate and sign contracts and agreements with external entities as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and second. No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
President Haney, consider board policies and review administrative regulations.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, I'm going to pull my mask down just a little bit. I think this is a triple layer mask. It's very protective. However, you can't hear when I speak. I can't hear myself when I speak, but I have been vaccinated, and I believe all of us we have these. So we have these as well, and we're socially distanced. And eventually, we're going to get the two vice presidents back up here sitting with us, so they don't have to, or Vice President Welker has to hop up and down. And we'll save his legs a little bit here, hopefully soon. Presented for your approval and for your review are two updated policies and the two updated regulations. The two policies are related to advisory committees and other committees and councils. The language has been updated to reflect current practice, allowing the president or a person authorized by the president to develop guidelines for advisory committees, as well as committees and other groups that are mandated by federal and state law. Those are the two policies. The two regulations that are updated are a change to grievance procedures for employees. We used to have two regulations, one for faculty and one for non-faculty, so everyone else. We've combined those two, so we've eliminated the grievance procedure for the personnel other than faculty and combined them into one grievance procedure for all employees. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we ask for your approval on the changes to the policy.
Make a motion that we approve these administrative regulations and policies as outlined.
I second that.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is that it? Update on personnel.
Chairman Larson, members of the board, presented for your review, no actions necessary, is the personnel matrix. You can see that we have fewer open positions at this time. Our long-term human resources director, Laurie Avalot, who's been with us over 22 years, is retiring at the end of this year. And so we have an open search for her replacement. Be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Is that search open? I thought it had already been, someone had been hired.
Well,
That's not
the-
correct.
Human Resources, not
Yes,
yet.
HR.
It closes on March 17th, so next Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
We do have a few applications, I understand, but I haven't looked at them.
All right, thank you, President Haney. General information and discussion. The next district governing board meeting will be on Thursday, April 15th at 12 p.m., which is a change from our regular time. All offices of college will be closed March 19th, April 2nd, April 5th. Any other business that you want to bring forward?
Chairman Larson, members of the board, I have just a couple of brief announcements of current events. As you know, and you just referenced it, there will be no spring break next week, which was originally scheduled. We, again, you know this, but we decided to cancel the traditional spring break in response to COVID to prevent students from going off and potentially bringing back the virus. We made that decision back early in the fall semester in anticipation of what the pandemic would look like now. So in place of that, we did what the marketing office is calling a spring break sprinkle. So we've taken a few classes and sprinkled them through or not classes, but days, and sprinkled them through the semester, giving them off. So next Friday is the first of the 3 sprinkle days, if you will. So we will be closed next Friday, and then April 2nd, which is around the Easter weekend. COVID numbers are waning gratefully in the county and in the state. We hope and are looking forward to hopefully a more normal, quote unquote, normal fall semester. We're also working quickly toward commencement, which is happening in less than 2 months now. On May 7th, we're looking forward to what is a traditional in-person graduation ceremony with a limited number of spectators, but it will be outside at the football stadium as we have traditionally done, so you will all be invited to that. On another note, on a legislative note, the U.S. House yesterday passed the American Rescue Plan, which is the 3rd stimulus bill, and President Biden just signed it. Actually, just got an update that he signed that bill today. It was anticipated that he'd sign it tomorrow, but he signed it early. That's a $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and there are $39.1 billion allocated for higher education institutions. We don't yet know exactly how much the college EAC will be receiving, but we understand it will be even significantly more than the prior stimulus, which we received, I believe, 4.5, almost $5 million. So those funds, while we do appreciate them and can use them, they are restricted for COVID-related reasons. It does take a little bit of effort to identify what expenses we can tie to COVID. And believe it or not, there are many that we can tie to the pandemic. So we do look forward to that. And finally, you are probably also very well of House Bill 2523 did pass. That's the baccalaureate degree bill at community colleges. Passed the full House on a 57-3 vote. And it has been assigned to 2 committees in the Senate, the Higher Education Committee and the Finance Committee. And I believe one of those committees, I forget which one, will be hearing that bill next week on Tuesday is what we're hearing. So we're looking forward to that as well.
I was excited to hear Jerry Rambler support of that and all the things he's doing, his efforts that he's making to help get that passed. I was surprised, but I was excited that he felt so strongly about it.
Chairman Rambler of the San Carlos Apache Reservation he wrote a letter in support of the bill and referenced EAC specifically. We're grateful for that support.
Yeah. And all the people he contacted.
Yes, yeah.
Very happy.
Our expectations in the Senate that'll pass.
I think the chances look really good in the Senate. The makeup in the Senate is different this session than it was last session when there was some opposition. I understand that the universities do have a concern about the bill, and they are raising those concerns, but we're working to address those with them.
All right. Thank you.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
No, we have to go into executive session, don't we?
No, I don't think so. Not today.
Okay, good.
Second.
Yes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.